Hello, Tiger Nation. My name is Mac Fox.
And I'm Arlo Hoover.
And you're watching Ike News. Let's take a look at what's been going on in Tiger Nation the last few weeks.
On Wednesday, October 16th, Mrs. Cottingham's Tiger Time class visited Oxford Grand Assisted Living. Students connected with residents, learning about their experiences and receiving some advice.
That same day, Mrs. Lefevre's Science Club took a trip to the Cosmosphere. They explored Dr. Goddard's lab, watched the IMAX documentary Space the New Frontier, and toured the Hall of Space Museum and Planetarium.
On October 19th, the debate team hosted their tournament at home. They did very well while also being able to make a little bit of money from hosting concessions.
On Thursday, October 24th, Mrs. McCormick's Technology Student Association group attended the fall conference. If you're interested in competing in STEM, talk to Mrs. McCormick. With over 70 events, there's something for everyone. Check out their TSA website.
Lots of great things happening around EHS. Now let's send it over to Jamie, who will tell us how one group is spreading Halloween cheer to kids in need.
Instead of the traditional candy and sweets, the Eisenhower High School Theater Department is in search of something a little more this Halloween. Tonight, the theater students will put a spin on trick-or-treating. Instead of asking for candy, they will be knocking door to door asking for non-perishable items to give to kids in need.
A trick-or-treat so kids can eat, and then explain that they are representing the Eisenhower High School Theater Department, and we are collecting food items, non-perishables, and canned goods.
Tots, or Trick-or-Treat So Kids Can Eat, is a nationwide event. It was started in 2003 by the International Thespian Society when board members realized that some high schoolers still wanted to participate in the age-old tradition of trick-or-treating. The food collected by students will be combined with our school food drive items and given to the kids in need inside the USD 265 community. The Eisenhower High School Theater Department will be out tonight collecting cans. You can show your support by either having non-perishable items ready for trick-or-treaters' arrival, or you can bring your own food items into Miss Box's room any time of the week after Halloween. This is Jamie with Ike Media News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jamie.
Now let's switch gears and find out what's been going on in Tiger sports.
Here's Kira Mercer with this edition of Inside the Tiger Huddle, a Tiger Nation sports report.
I'm Kira Mercer, and you're watching Inside the Tiger Huddle. The Tigers battled the Andover Central Jaguars in a close game but fell just short, losing 28-27. Wide receiver Carter Papps securing 145 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Braden Pappas, who contributed with 105 rushing yards, adding a solid performance to the Tigers' efforts. This past Friday, our Tigers faced off against the Northwest Grizzlies in a highly anticipated clash between two of the state's top teams. Unfortunately, the Tigers came up just short, losing 31-28 in a hard-fought battle at home, marking their first home defeat of the season. Despite the loss, senior leadership shone through for Eisenhower. Derek Morgan rushed for 71 yards and scored 2 touchdowns on just 8 carries, while Carter Papps had an impressive night with 251 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, including a stunning 73-yard catch that caught the Northwest secondary off guard. Eisenhower's defensive line kept the pressure on with 3 sacks, led by Drayton Oaks, who recorded 2 sacks and set a season high with 9 total tackles. Lucas Freeman also made his significant contributions, adding a sack and 16 total tackles, 6 of which were for a loss. I caught up with Coach Fisher after the game and got an insight on what's ahead for the Tigers.
What will be the main focus heading into next week's game?
It's just details. We'll go and watch film. It's hard to see all the mistakes and things that we need to correct. We'll go film, we'll evaluate, and then get ready for our next opponent. Perfect.
And then what role did penalties and turnovers play in tonight's game?
Man, there were some costly ones and some that weren't called, but that's the nature of football and the nature of refs. And we're not going to get every call, and it kind of is what it is, and we just got to keep playing and work through it.
Perfect. Thank you for talking to me, Coach Fish.
Thank you.
Eisenhower's record now stands at 6-2. The Tigers will look to bounce back when they host Emporia at 7 p.m. on Thursday, while also hoping to capitalize on Emporia's current 8-game losing streak. The Tiger volleyball team has been on a hot streak lately, claiming wins from Arc City, Newton, Northwest, Andale, El Dorado, Andover, and Salina Central, securing them the Goddard Invitational Tournament championship title for all 3 of the Tiger volleyball teams. Closing out their season on Saturday, October 26th, the Tigers traveled to Andover for Sub-State, where they came out with an outstanding performance but came up short with an 0-2 loss. Our boys soccer team overwhelmed the hosts, Salina Central Mustangs, 8-0 league challenge win on the 15th, followed by the Tigers taking on the East High Aces and the Derby Panthers, coming up short with a 5-3 and a 3-2 loss. The Tigers went on to face the Andover Central Jaguars at home and unfortunately fell short, losing with a final score of 0-1.
The boys closed out their season on the 28th with a windy battle in round 1 of playoffs, facing off against number 2 seed Maize South, losing 2-1 in double overtime.
We have exciting news from our unified bowling team, who recently traveled to the Alley in Hutchinson, Kansas, for their first meet of the season. Congratulations to the team for taking home first place out of 6 teams with an impressive score of 799. Finally, our cross-country teams had a great performance at the regional tournament this past Saturday. The boys team finished as regional runner-up, reflecting their hard work and dedication. Congratulations to Owen Dent for earning first-team All-Region honors by finishing second overall, and to Ethan Spiva for securing second-team All-Region with an 8th-place finish. A shout-out to our other talented runners, Brennan Douglas, Carter Smith, Justice Reynolds, William Young, and Jack Santillan. The boys will compete again this Saturday at Rim Rock with their race scheduled for 11:45 a.m. The girls' team also put up a strong fight, finishing 6th overall. Great job to both teams. That's it for this edition of Inside the Tiger Huddle. My name's Kira Mercer. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kira. I'm excited for the playoff game tonight. Did you know that the sun will set before kickoff? It's going to be chilly with temperatures dropping to the mid-50s.
Better layer up one of those Halloween costumes, but I'll be up in the box streaming and commentating, so I'll stay warm.
Lucky duck. It should be a great game either way.
Speaking of great games, let's head over to Ellie in the podcast studio. She sat down with Coach Blue for a special Halloween edition of Tiger Talks, our Tiger Nation podcast.
I'm your host, Ellie, and I have the pleasure of talking to our very own head boys basketball coach, Coach Blue. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Big fan of the show. So
Thank you.
It's hard to follow up a couple legends, but I'm ready to give this a shot.
So, as everyone can tell, you have a great passion for basketball, which brings us into our first question. Did you know that basketball was invented by a guy who just wanted his students to stop playing indoors? What's the most creative excuse for not showing up to practice or to participate in PE?
Oh, that's a tough one. There are so many excuses, especially for physical education. The most creative one I've heard is 1 year in team sports, I had a young man who could not participate that day because his brother had a basketball game that night.
Oh.
So because of that, he had to save his energy so he could cheer. Which probably, I gave him points for being creative.
Yeah.
It made me laugh. So at that point, I was like, hey, it's your world, bud.
Yeah.
So
We're just living in it.
we're just living in it. If that's how you feel, then I agree with you. That's save your energy and cheer loud.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least it's your sport, It could be like football or something.
Yeah. Oh, football is also my sport. I love football.
Well,
so Friday night lights. So
Yeah. Okay, we often hear about legendary coaches like Phil Jackson and their quirky rituals. Do you have any funny rituals or superstitions that you and your team embrace before a game?
I don't know if my team embraces it. I do have some. I am very superstitious.
Yes, me too.
As Michael Scott once said, I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, but I am superstitious. So I usually try to park in the same spot.
Uh-huh.
I have a tendency to wear the same outfit multiple times, if we're on a winning streak.
If you're looking good, it doesn't really matter.
I usually let my wife pick it out. So whatever she tells me looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I completely agree. We've heard from our sources that you love Bird on Basketball by Larry Bird. If you had to choose one lesson from the book that you think applies to life, something funny or surprising, what would it be and why?
Well, here's the interesting thing about Bird on Basketball. I've actually never read the book. So it's the sources must have mentioned it because in high school, I wasn't always the best student. I was super nice to my teachers, though.
Mm-hmm.
But 1 year I did a oral book report on Bird on Basketball and a written book report on Bird on Basketball. And then for 4 straight years, I always did a book report on it. But I've never actually read the book, and I'm actually not a Larry Bird fan. I'm a Magic Johnson fan.
Okay.
So that was kind of interesting. But if you choose a random book that no one's read, do it when you do an oral book report, no one knows any different.
Yeah, I had heard that, and I was like, what is bird on basketball? And I looked it up, and it, like, literally showed, like, a picture of a bird on a basketball. I was like, definitely not this.
That's not the same book I have.
Yeah.
So it's actually talking about Larry Bird, and it's got a picture, and I think, if anyone wants to buy the book, I would sell it to you for a cheap price. But it's I think it's probably a pretty good book on teaching you how to play basketball, but, I've never opened it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the best source for that.
So being a coach, I can imagine you're being very competitive. Are you okay with playing a little spirit Halloween trivia?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. So rules of the game. I'm going to set a timer for a minute and then just read off questions, and we'll see how much you can get.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. What's the name of the day after Halloween? It's like a Catholic day or something.
Oh, like November 1st? All Hallows Day? I don't know. Is that Halloween Day?
It's All Saints Day.
All Saints Day. It was
Yes.
right there on the tip of
Yes.
my tongue.
Yeah. What fruit is traditionally carved into a jack-o'-lantern?
Pumpkin.
Okay. What country did Halloween originate?
United States. As you can tell, I'm not a big history guy, so go ahead.
Ireland.
Oh,
That was not my first guess.
That was my second guess.
Oh, okay. Okay. What colors are typically associated with Halloween?
Black and orange.
Yep. What is the most popular Halloween costume for kids?
Hulk. Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's superheroes.
Superheroes.
Yes. What is the name of the killer in the Friday the 13th franchise?
Jason.
Jason what?
Voorhees.
Yes. Which horror movie features a haunted hotel and a character named Jack Torrance?
Ooh. Scream? No, not Scream. I meant Psycho.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, there's our time.
Oh.
Let's see how many you got. 5.
Oh, hey,
That's pretty good in
That's
a
not
minute.
bad.
That's pretty good in a minute, not gonna
not
lie.
bad.
Yeah,
I'll
not
take
bad,
that.
not bad,
I'll
yeah.
take that. So.
Well, thank you, Coach Blue, for joining me today, and I hope you all enjoyed this edition of Tiger Talks. I'm Ellie Tarpley, and back to you in the studio.
Peace.
Thanks, Ellie. As you know, there's a big event creeping up, the presidential election on Tuesday, November 5th.
Seniors who are 18 by then can vote. Register online at kdor.ks.gov.
Remember, it's not just the presidential race. There's also congressional, Senate, state representatives, and local elections. Don't let those decisions haunt you. Make sure to vote.
Are you voting, Mac?
Not this time. I'm not 18 yet.
Same here, but we're keeping an eye on what's brewing at the polls.
For sure. Now let's see what's coming up in Tiger Nation.
Tomorrow, November 1st, is an in-service day. No school, a little extra time to rest in peace.
On November 5th and 12th, we will have night library from 6 to 8 p.m., perfect for some late night studying.
The annual food drive starts November 6th, running through 6-hour classes. Let's scare away hunger by bringing in those cans.
Also on November 6th, winter play auditions will be held in the auditorium from 3 to 4 p.m. Break a leg or a broomstick.
On November 7th, listen for announcements to head down the Ox Gym for club or sport group photos.
Seniors listen up for cap and gown portraits as well as the senior panoramic photo announcement.
The Goddard Sings event is at Goddard High on November 8th at 5 p.m. Don't miss it.
Start forming teams for Survivor Ball tournament on November 12th from 3:30 to 7 p.m. in the main gym. It's sure going to be a fantastic competition.
Educators Rising regional competition will be in Wichita from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on November 13th.
Also on the 13th, signing day will be held after school in Tiger Dining, a big day for our athletes.
The improv show is happening on November 15th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. Expect lots of laughs.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and IkeMediaEHS.com for updates and event photos.
Can't make it to the game tonight? We'll be streaming live at 6:30 p.m. on the Ike Media YouTube page, or click on the Ike Live tab at IkeMediaEHS.com.
Stay tuned after the show for a hauntingly good EHS football and Ike Media video to get you hyped for round 1 tonight.
Until next time, I'm Arlo.
And I'm Mac,
And
and
this
this
has
has been Ike Media News.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.